We are almost halfway through the book of Deuteronomy. This time is really moving along and quite faster for some reason for me through the book of Deuteronomy. As you know, this is our first cycle, what I will call the Torah Chat Points, getting familiar with the Torah itself. And we'll be starting what I would say a deeper level, a study level of the book of Genesis once we finish with the book of Deuteronomy. And I will call this our second cycle through the Torah. I hope that each of you have had the time to start doing your own study, just to show yourself approved, and not just taking my word as we just going through these Torah Chat Points, but you're actually putting forth the research and the study for yourselves. Welcome to Reconcile the Kingdom. We're working towards becoming a harmony of the whole word of truth. My name is Patrice Robinson, and I appreciate you for stopping by here on today. Today, we're going through the significant events of Deuteronomy chapters 19 through 21. Chapter 19. When the children of Israel get to their land, they're to have like 3 cities among their portions of their land, of their territory. For those who commit manslaughter, they can flee. If it's manslaughter unintentionally, they can flee to this area, to this city, and they will not be facing those who are coming for the revenge of the blood, because the manslaughter was an accident. Then you have ones who committed manslaughter. Now they may flee to the land, but because they did it intentionally, they can actually be given up to the revengers of the blood, and they can die. Then you have the respect of boundaries of the land. So don't move the markers. Don't be stealing someone else's property, and that still goes for today too. Don't move the markers. Then we have the witnesses for judges. They need 2 or 3 witnesses for any issue. The false witness, if there's one among them, they cannot be taken lightly. The judgment that was supposed to be on the person that they're false witnessing against can be judged on them. So they will be facing those consequences because they were false witnesses. Chapter 20. This was mainly about the war, getting people prepared, getting the warriors ready for war. And this was some wise advice because, hey, you may not make it if we go to war. So there's a few things I just want to point out. So if you build a house and you have not dedicated, go and dedicate it, because you may not have another chance once you go to war. Put your vineyard to use and marry your betrothed woman. And then it says something interesting. Do not take the faint-hearted. So if you cannot fight in the war, that's okay. You don't need to join this war, because this is for those who can do it. Then we have, of course, the Levites. And then there's some rules about making peace with other nations and rules on how to make peace. Now, this should bring you in the remembrance of the book of Joshua. Chapter 21. 21, you see, this is where we start reading the additional information about the red heifer actually in process. When a person is found dead and the person is not found who caused the murder, the Levites and the elders are gathered for this process with this special prayer. We have rules if you have 2 wives here. Then we have the son that is rebellious, that is stubborn, glutton, and a drunkard. Then he is stoned. Then we have the man that commits sin, that is worthy of death, and he will be hanged on a tree. And the body should not remain all night, so the land will not be defiled. So this should also bring you remembrance of Yeshua, the book of Joshua, and also in other places. Today's focus is the stone son. There's a lot in all these chapters that we can talk about, but I kind of want to focus on the stone son. So let me tell you why. One of the reasons a lot of people, avoid the Torah, don't want to follow the instructions of the Torah, is because of this situation in chapter 21 with the stone son. And so they they're saying things like, should we stone our children now? This is not what the Bible is actually saying. So we're going to take a look at this scripture in chapter 21. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him, will not hearken unto them, then shall his father and his mother lay hold of him, bring him out unto the elders of the city, unto the gate of his place. That's where the elders sit around. And they should say unto the elders of his city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice, and he is a glutton and a drunkard. And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shall thou put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. Now, the key point is that this is actually an adult that is glutton and a drunkard. This is not a child. This is an adult. Just because you see son, father, and mother, it puts us in the mind of a child and a father and a mother. But the Bible is pointing out glutton and drunkard, and this is an adult. Now, if you have a child that's underage that are glutton and drunkard in other areas, you might have a whole nother situation. But the Bible is specifically speaking about an adult. And then the parents did not stone him. The elders of the men of the city did. So it's not like you can take your child and stone your child. So this is a point of understanding, actually reading the scripture and what it actually says, not by going what someone word or what someone is teaching. That's why I always point the scriptures out to you so you can take a look and see what it actually say. So I hope that this was helpful in learning the instructions of the kingdom. Join me on Saturday as we continue our journey of what did Yeshua teach. Then I will see you next Tuesday for Torah Chat Points as we go through Deuteronomy chapters 22 through 24. As always, man does not live by bread alone, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yehovah. Have a blessed rest of the week, and thank you for joining me on today.